Hello, everybody. I said it before you did.
Listen. Rich Corinthian leather.
It's not. It's actually, I think it's. We have this couch and chair that it's green leather, but I don't think it's real leather. I think it's like a leatherette or pleather, but they're really classy though. They have like wooden, like the rest of it's with like wooden drawers underneath, and we got it at the charity shop for £150. I really like them. So welcome to Lesbian Talk. It wasn't you making that horrible noise this week. Oh, fair play. How are you, the internet?
Only a small part of it, because the entire internet, it's
They're
unlikely to hear this recording.
Yes, they're all watching and listening right this second.
Why would they be watching? All you're going to do is put some still images up.
Yeah, I know, but like, then, I mean, we could vlog, but then it would just be boring because it would just be like the back of the couch and our faces, and I don't know, this gives people stuff to look
That's
at.
perfectly fine in backseat critiques.
Well, anyway, this is my show. We're going to do things my way.
This is true.
So, how are you this week?
I am defenestrated.
You are not. That never happened.
Yes, it did.
It did not. I'm really great because... Hey,
did it again.
No, I'm really great because I got my marks for the first term and I fucking rocked it. And I got an email at like 11:30 on Friday night from my supervisor that our paper has been picked up for peer review by the journal. I won't say which journal because I'm not sure if it's like etiquette to whatever. But, so the next step is peer review. And
She won't shut up about it when it's published.
Yeah, I'll talk about it then. No, but the next step is formal peer review. Probably one or two peer reviewers, depending on how the journal decides to do it. My supervisor is the corresponding author, but he says he's going to, quote, take a back seat to the process and let me deal with the sexy world of peer review. So basically they're going to come and be like, what the fuck are you talking about here? Describe this. What is this? I have no clue what you're on about. And then I'll make revisions, and if it passes their muster, then they will recommend to the editor for publication, which would be really, really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Science.
Actual science.
Actual for reals.
Well, I think it was Ken Ham with Answers in Genesis who put out this picture, sorry, no, it wasn't a picture.
Yeah.
It was a thing from a museum. They're one of their creation museums, and it's got like the Colosseum, but the gladiators are fighting dinosaurs. That's just hilarious.
Although, now I really want to see like an all-dinosaur remake of Gladiator.
Though the tiger would have its head kicked in.
Yeah. Oh, it got by velociraptors.
How would you just do Gladiator as it is, but replace Russell Crowe with a dinosaur? And everyone else is exactly the same. And then everyone's just like stunned images of, oh my god, and he's saying stuff, and it's like,
but Maximus, you can't. Or just like, the yelps of Chewbacca.
Or you're already dead. Just like a T-Rex roaring, and the guys are like, yeah.
You saw it.
Someone should do that. Even in GIFs, it's awesome.
You saw it here live. Someone, like the kind of shit that you see on YouTube where people take trailers or take just like old adverts and it's so great. I mean, I wish I had the skills to do shit like that, but it's so...
Are you thinking about those trailers?
Yeah, and like your man who takes classic like black and white trailers and remakes trailers for modern movies like Avengers and stuff like that.
Oh, the one, there's a couple. The guy you're talking about, that is the guy who does the pre-makes. He did the Avengers and Ghostbusters and Empire Strikes Back, done if they were 30s
and the guy
to 50s.
That colorizes Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, Babel Color. Yeah, he's very good. The one I was thinking was Aldo Jones, who does these really...
I don't like
occasionally brilliant, occasionally really irritating and stupid Terry Gilliam-ish reimaginings of trailers using just CGI and sampling and sort of to make every shot weird.
Yeah. Which
I find it really entertaining, but also really stupid.
Yeah, I just came down on the really stupid side. I'm like, okay, that took a lot of talent, but I don't get it. It's not funny. I don't get it. I feel, how I feel that way about Rick and Morty and BoJack Horseman. I really want to like them because a lot of people that I know whose opinions on things and tastes I really respect, like, oh, it's so how unprofessional. Oh my god.
Hello, Mom.
Let's listen in.
Hello?
This isn't as interesting as I thought it would be.
I cannot hear at all.
What will happen next?
I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now? So anyway. But yeah, like, so I have friends who, and I really respect their opinions, like, oh, Rick and Morty is so funny, and BoJack Horseman is so funny, and I've watched episodes of them, but I'm just like, okay, it's just, I don't get it. Maybe, like, just not my humor.
Rick and Morty is witty, but definitely not my thing. But still, it's witty.
Yeah.
But what's the first thing we're talking about?
Shark Rape Gate. No, that's a lie. I tweeted that we were about to record Lesbian Talk. We were talking about hashtag Shark Rape Gate. And just to see what would happen.
Well, yeah, after the PewDiePie thing, I spent several hours trying to get my Twitter fans to basically convince Channel Awesome to fire me because I glorified shark rape in my Gyo review by making a joke about a shark raping someone.
Do you know while she was editing the Gyo review, like, every time she used the word Gyo, and I was like, another one, I had to go, Gyo, just like that, which was really probably pretty irritating because I was studying, and then you're like, and another thing about you, Gyo. That should be a GIF, just me going, Gyo. But so, Jesus Christ. Like, I mean, I hate to, like, get lost in a jungle of logical fallacies, but, like, okay, here's a really great way to sum up how I feel about the whole PewDiePie thing. One morning, this is many, many years ago now, 16 years ago, I think, almost, I was getting ready for work. I'd woke up early, and I was in uni for the first time, but I had a swing shift, so basically, some days I went, in and I just worked, but the days I had lectures, I went into lecture and then worked late. So I was getting ready to go to work, and I had Good Morning America on. And the top story on Good Morning America was, is Michael Jordan intending to come out of retirement? And, like, they were just going on and on in depth, just like, let me tell you what. And I'm like, I actually said to the cat that was sitting on my bed, is there not anything better to talk about? You're a national news program. The best you can do for a leading story, on a random Tuesday is Michael Jordan coming out of retirement? Now, this story is pretty ironic because that was about 6 or 7 in the morning on 9/11. And we soon had a lot more to talk about. But, like, that kind of, that story sticks in my mind whenever I hear people talking about something that is so stupid as though it's a big thing when there is so much else going on.
Yeah.
And let me disclaim here, I've not actually ever watched a PewDiePie video. The only thing I know about him is that he wrote a book, and we carry it in the shop on our YouTubers, and a lot of kids come in for it. And he's not American, so.
Oh, I think he's Swedish.
Yeah, but those are my some knowledge of PewDiePie before the incident.
I've seen, like, tiny clips, and 80% of his clips I've seen him in were in the last week or so. But, my biggest shock was he has fans that are older than 12. Okay, apparently.
Well, I mean...
everyone,
I mean, there's a lot of people that like My Little Pony. I mean, I'm nearly 40 and I really enjoy Steven Universe, so, and that's geared towards children, so I mean, to each their own. Some people really love watching Let's Players. Some people think, oh my god, how can you sit there and be entertained by watching someone else watch someone else play a video game? So,
I was trying to make a pithy comment.
Oh, sorry.
But,
if I could just play devil's advocate...
The devil, according to Christianity, the devil is the god of this world, the king of this world, so therefore he has more than enough advocates, he does not need any more. I really hate the term devil's advocate. It actually comes from Catholicism. Whenever they had, someone was going to be turned into a saint, and so they had this little mock trial thing where you had someone was assigned to be the devil's advocate who would basically argue against the person being made into a saint. And it
would only be worth it if they had a pointy goatee and mustache a Handelmark mustache that they twirled, and they dressed in, like, a completely red suit with a black tie, and they'd be like, if I could just play the devil's hit.
And if I remember correctly, like, for instance, that...
you want to do that.
Just saying all that, it sounds really weird, so I suppose I could have... I don't think I invented it, but I could have read it and it could be bullshit.
Because in Canticle for Leibowitz, when
when
Brother Francis is interrogated about his discovery, because Blessed Leibowitz is up for canonization, there is a priest that comes to talk to him, and also a devil's advocate.
Okay, well then it looks like I was right then. But Christopher Hitchens, I believe, was a devil's advocate against Mother Teresa.
They hire people? I thought you had to be a priest or something.
No, I don't believe
That's fantastic. You can just sign up to do that. I want to do that. I want to go to the Vatican and slag people off.
This could be another bit where I could be mistaken.
If you know what really happened, write the show.
But I think the Catholic Church asks you if you are an expert in the subject, and you would be opposed.
Fair play.
Rather than just get a random priest to do it.
I want to do that. I want to get up there and slag people off. And let me tell you what about blessed so-and-so.
But back to PewDiePie.
Anyway, enough about the church. Back to PewDiePie.
So, first of all, I thought it was just because Disney, dropped his sponsorships and, semi-fired him from parts of YouTube. Like the YouTube Red thing, that sort of thing.
Do you know, I get a few cents of ad revenue from YouTube Red, but I don't know how that works.
Neither do I.
Anyway.
But you got... First of all, I thought the issue was people complaining about that, and some people apparently were, that it's terrible for Disney and YouTube to drop someone for saying shit that they didn't like. Oh my god.
Well, I mean...
What is mind-blowing about that? Go and be the Insane Clown Posse's advocate. Disney own Island Records. Disney fired the Insane Clown Posse for being controversial from Island Records. This is a thing that this isn't a new SJWPC thing. Disney don't like controversy.
Now have a headcanon where Mickey Mouse calls the Insane Clown Posse into his office. Close the door, boys. Have a seat. We need to talk. Where's my motherfucking money? In a second.
Actually, there is a show, John Safran's Music Jamboree, where it was about popular music in the mid-2000s. And they did a thing with the Insane Clown Posse about this.
Nice.
Where, as Safran paid a guy to dress up like Mickey Mouse to go and offer the Insane Clown Posse candy as a way to say sorry. And the Insane Clown Posse beat the guy up. I believe that it was supposed to be staged that he was beating them up because the Insane Clown Posse were trained wrestlers.
Yeah.
But the real guy got injured.
Oh.
It was hilarious.
If you don't watch John Safran, you should. He's very reverent.
Yeah, like the most ridiculous thing about people annoyed about that is the idea that, for instance, in the 60s, the only thing that stopped Blackbeard's Ghost from featuring Peter Ustinov holding a sign saying "Death to all Jews, subscribe to Keemstar" was the fact that they didn't think of it. No. Disney's got...
That really would have spiced up Cat from Outer Space or The Ugly Dotson.
Yeah. Disney has a way
Don't even get me started about the Disney live-action movies, especially the ones involving animals, because let me tell you what, hold on a second, for 5 years in a row, when I was a child at Wallingford Elementary, the day before Christmas break, do you know what we had to do? The day before Christmas break, all 5 grades were brought in, and I think it was kindergarten. Yeah, all 5 grades in kindergarten were brought into the gymnasium, because we didn't even have an auditorium, right? And they put on just reels. They would pick one Disney movie, and they had it on the old projector, and that's what you had to do until lunch, and you could go to fucking lunch, and you could finally have your fucking Christmas party and go home for Christmas. Because let me tell you what, when you are in primary school, and it is the fucking last day before Christmas break, and sometimes it's, depending on where it falls, the day before Christmas Eve, Jesus goddamn Christ. A live-action Disney movie takes 17 hours to get through. Oh my god. I despise The Ugly Dotson and The Cat from Outer Space. And there was one about a goose that laid golden eggs because some kind of like... What was your man who was in the original Nutty Professor?
Oh god, I've got...
Yes.
Jerry Lewis.
No, not Nutty, but no, with Flubber.
Jerry Lewis.
Was Jerry Lewis? Oh, that's not the guy I'm thinking of. But anyway, someone like him gave... something involving apple peels to the goose, and then it laid golden eggs, and there was a French farce, and oh, Jesus Christ, the vitriol that I had.
So...
No, I've become on PewDiePie's side now, just because of... No, I haven't.
If your issue with this whole thing is because they decided to get rid of him because they thought he was controversial, sorry, you're being silly.
Well, the first thing that I thought about was, okay, so I've worked in a lot of jobs in corporate America. I have worked for an imprint of Cigna Healthcare, or a subsidiary, I guess, Cigna Healthcare is one of the largest companies in the world. I've worked for Barnes & Noble. I've worked for privately owned companies. I've worked for charities. I work for the American Diabetes Association. I've been around. I've worked for contracting companies in telecom, all that kind of stuff. And I read the employment contracts that I sign just to make sure I'm not signing something stupid, and then I'm stuck later. And every single company that I have worked for has had a clause in your employment contract that says if you are arrested or charged with a felony or anything like that, you must make the company aware immediately. If you do anything to, quote, tarnish the company's public image, including being arrested, that can be grounds for termination. So that's pretty standard. I mean, like...
Yeah, and if you want to make the argument that big companies should have less power to fuck over their employees,
then you need to get on your legislature to vote against things like at-will states. Because at-will employment in some states means your company, as long as it's not a reason like, oh, this person was black, so I fired them, as long as it doesn't violate a federal statute, your company can just fire you for any reason. They don't have to have a reason. It's Monday.
Yeah, I'm very much in favor of protecting people, including their workers, from companies with money. Very in favor of that, but that doesn't seem to be the particular issue.
Yeah, like if you're one of the few people about this who are pissed off, and that's why, good on you.
Yeah.
Because I disagree with that too. I worked in Pennsylvania, which was an at-will state, and there were 2 times actually when our whole project team was let go. We could have been transitioned to another project, but they just didn't feel like doing it. They're like, well, we're an at-will state. We're not firing you for cause. We'll still let you file for unemployment. And I was like...
But apparently that's only a minority of the people who are complaining. Apparently the majority, or the case of they started off like that and they moved on to this. I really don't know which it is. I don't want to assume that I'm right, that I was particularly observant at the start. So it could be that they were always talking about this upcoming issue rather than the last one. I was confused.
Right.
But this other one is... Apparently, the Wall Street Journal put an article which defamed and libeled him and was absolutely horrible.
Here's the thing. Here's what people are saying, that the media called him a Nazi. Now, I haven't read the article, and apparently it's behind a paywall.
I read what I think is the article.
Has anyone said PewDiePie's a Nazi? Because if they said that, he can sue for libel.
The article I found, which is by the same person, it seems to be the article, said basically, it's been a long time doing this, saying that PewDiePie made bigoted jokes, and he is now seen as a hero to many neo-Nazis.
Oh, okay.
Which, as far as I can tell, are objective facts.
Didn't Stormfront put him on the front page?
Yes.
Well, if he has been called something he's not, that is libel, and he can sue. Yeah. If he wanted to, he could say, you can claim that I'm a hero to neo-Nazis. I don't feel that I am. I feel that's libelous, and then it would have to be worked out in court.
Well, the neo-Nazis are the ones who are acting like he's the hero, so he could take it up with them.
Fair play.
But if someone can find me an article...
Yeah, if we have the wrong way around this, please
find us a copy of the article that says he is a Nazi. Please link it to us. I don't want someone else's videos, interpreting or whatever. I want the actual article so we can interpret it for ourselves, because as far as I can tell... Assuming the article I read hasn't been amended and is accurate, and my memory isn't fucked, which occasionally it is. Because as far as I can tell, what it is a bunch of people don't like the fact that how they framed objective facts.
Well, the thing is that I've been seeing, and I've been reading some comments on YouTube, even though you're not supposed to do that, is it's kind of like, it's the media's fault. Now, here's what I don't like. I don't like calling the media one thing. I don't like generalizing. And the reason I don't like generalizing is because, as a future social scientist who does research, you have to put at the end of your paper, when you're describing your limitations, the limitations of your study or your experiment or whatever you've done, that you have to basically say, keep in mind, this can't be generalized to the entirety of the population. This can only be generalized, like if you are using first-year uni students, these results can only be generalized to first-year uni students, for example, in Northern Ireland. Because what you're saying is, I understand that my sample, even if it's evenly split male and female, evenly split by age, whatever, I understand this is not a representative sample of the entire population. That's one thing that I really dislike when people say, oh, there was this study. The study was, a sample group of 5 in some country, and they were all men or all women or, all one ethnicity or something like that. In any kind of research, you can't generalize. People are not the same. They vary wildly. It's called sampling error when they seem to be too much the same. So saying the media, if you mean just the Wall Street Journal, say the Wall Street Journal. Like, God damn it, the Wall Street Journal. I'm fucking pissed. But I really dislike that because that implies that your local news is, like, in on this secret conspiracy to, like, dethrone PewDiePie. And it kind of sounds like a bit of conspiratorial thinking. But I know it's really easy to rail against a monolithic concept like, oh, it's the media. But what I'm seeing is this big conspiracy by the media to do bad things. I've seen SJWs implicated, even even though like
Disney's fucking SJW.
there was no public outcry. It's not like people, people like to slag off Tumblr. It's not like Tumblr rose up and then the Wall Street Journal.
SJWs are a mythical folk demon. There are people who are, through whether they realize it or not, are on the right wing, who are basically claiming absolutely anyone who is opposed to them in whatever reason, for whatever reason. I mean, the Wall Street Journal are conservative as fuck. Disney are conservative as fuck. And they're claiming anyone who's against them are SJW. It is... They're trying to form these bizarre connections between everyone they don't like, which is insane.
Well, the thing is that, like, people say, oh, it's PC, it's political correctness gone mad, like Mark Steele likes to say. But the thing is that, like, at the end of the day...
Because anti-Semitism was so accepted in the mid-90s. Because an episode of Family Guy wasn't banned in its first season for being anti-Semitic. That was first seen on DVD. The Jewish episode, the one with Optimus Prime as Jewish, that one was not aired on American television.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah. When I Wish Upon a Weidenstein, I think it's called.
Honey, I really didn't watch much Family Guy until years later. It would be on, like, on repeat, and you'd be like, oh, I just want to watch Family Guy.
If you honestly think that what's going on here isn't because of political correctness, this is the least politically correct the human race has been in a restrictive social sense since probably the 12th century.
Well, one thing that I've seen a lot is that, well, then how come Jewish people get to make Nazi jokes, citing Mel Brooks, for example, or Adam Sandler and stuff like that. And I really...
That's a really stupid question.
Well, no, I really feel that, like, that's some kind of logical fallacy, but I can't put my finger on it.
I don't know the name for it, but basically it's someone they have seen the quote-unquote special privileges that a minority group gets because of shit they receive, and they want the privileges without the shit that goes with it.
But, I mean, at the same time, like, the whole, like, it's just a joke, like, it's, the joke that PewDiePie made, and apparently he said other anti-Semitic things, I don't know. I just know about this incident, so if you know more, again, comment below. But, like, there's a big difference than saying, like, having... basically paying two impoverished lads in another country to hold up a sign saying death to all Jews, and they can't read English, and the producers. like, you can say, but look at Mel Brooks, he had a musical called Springtime for Hitler. Yeah, and the point of the producers was they were set out to find the most offensive thing that would piss off the most number of people, the most horrific thing to make their thing fail, and it didn't.
And they're ignoring the fact that the producers was fucking banned in countries when it first came out. I believe it was banned in Germany because of it was the late 60s. The original producers, you were not allowed to have swastikas.
They're really serious and fair play.
And they're less serious now than they used to be, which is its own thing. But the producers was fucking banned. The fact that PewDiePie got banned, okay.
Well, the thing is that he basically...
Maybe he is just like the producers.
He hasn't even been banned, though. He's still on YouTube. He still has his channels. I mean, some people have unsubscribed, but then other people have said...
He's actually got more subscriptions now than he did.
Like people have said, oh, well, now I'll subscribe on purpose. But, like, the thing is that, like, he basically just lost 2 jobs. I mean, his free speech has not been violated. Yeah. No governments have told him you shall not. YouTube has not even told him you shall not.
And if the Wall Street Journal did call him a Nazi, they did literally called him a Nazi,
then he has grounds for libel.
It is libel, then he has more than enough money to sue. And we saw what happened with Gawker. You give a rich asshole, and sorry if you like PewDiePie, but he does seem to be a bit of a dickhead, with a libel case or a case against a big company, they can fucking take them down.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I don't have any estimation of this guy. If you're PewDiePie and you're listening, and you're actually a nice guy, right, the show. But, no, I'm with you. I don't understand why it's becoming like a thing. Like, are you with us or against us? I'm like, it's just a guy.
Yeah, the people portraying this as some sort of freedom of speech thing. It's like it's.
He's not American. Doesn't get freedom of speech.
It's not freedom of speech unless the government gets involved. And there's so many people who are apparently on PewDiePie's side, who also I have seen decry quote unquote white knighting. When I gotta tell you this, guys. If you're ranting about this PewDiePie thing, you might well be white knighting him, and you're not. It's not even like you're protecting a damsel. You're protecting a Dark Souls boss.
But here's the thing, though. I dislike the term white knighting, and I'll tell you.
Neither do I.
And I'll tell you why. Stupid. Because when you did that first crossover with Doug, it was heavy metal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so so this got posted, and there were people just going to town on her, and we were engaged at that time. And so I jumped in, and, well, me and actually Welshie did it too, so it wasn't just me, haha. So me and Welshie were all, like, troll baiting and, like, things and stuff, and I got a mean DM from an admin on Channel Awesome being like, you know what, you stop trying to white knight for your producer. If you support them, just send them a private message and things and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then I replied, we're engaged, right? And they didn't respond. But, like, it just really pissed me off. Like, aha, you were just trying to sleep with Hagan. And I'm like, well, yeah, but she knows it, so, I mean...
Yeah, the term white knighting is stupid, but
it's
the exact behavior that they don't like in other people.
It just implies that you can't stick up for someone else on the internet, regardless of if you're a guy or a girl, without there being sexual things.
If you're perfectly fine with people defending complete strangers on the net, then my complaint about this hypocrisy is not directed at you.
It just, I get the feeling like it's kind of going to snowball. Like the people who are involved in Gamergate are like, well, let's just have a new movement now. And I don't know. I just feel squirrely about it. Squirrely's a word. Look it up. Yeah. It's just a non-issue. There's so many other things that we need to be freaking the fuck out about right now. Like, seriously, you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I said this on Twitter, and we need to move on to another topic because we have limited space in the memory card today. But so this term I'm taking peace and conflict, and it's a social psychology class. And I want to say that the peace and conflict master's degree, or the conflict resolution master's degree at my university, is world renowned because I go to school in Northern Ireland, which has a bit of an issue with controversy and factionalism and the Troubles. So this is a world-renowned, class. The professor who's teaching it, she's a social psychologist. She's been a social psychologist specializing in peace and conflict for decades.
Northern Ireland, the place where I once got a death threat from someone claiming to be a member of an internationally recognized terrorist organization because of something I wrote. Then they actually read the thing, and they actually thought it was pretty witty, and so they rescinded it. So they may well have not been, but to be fair, you can't take that chance.
I know a lot of people who have family members who are members of internationally recognized terrorist organizations here. But anyway, so everyone does.
It's like living in a very heavily Italian neighborhood in New York or Chicago, and the mafia.
In the 1920s.
If you're not in it, the chances are you know someone who knows someone who's in it.
Aye.
It's just gonna happen.
But so, after the first class, now bear in mind, I've had this professor, this is the third year in the row I've had her, because I had her for formal social psych last year, and then introduction to psych the first year. And so, I was like, hey, what's the crack? Oh, it was great, how was your summer and everything? And so then, I said, I gotta ask. I said, the world changed radically between the time I signed up for this class at the end of last year and this class happening. I said, is it gonna be alright? And she looked at me and she said, I don't watch the news anymore. It's too depressing. I said, I know. Some days I just can't be on social media, or I'm just going to sit and refresh Twitter all day waiting for horrible things to happen. She goes, it's not a matter of is it going to be okay. Things have already fallen apart. And, I mean, this is not someone who I would decry as like, a reactionary, freaking out at the smallest thing.
No, the people who freak out about the smallest thing are complaining about PewDiePie right now.
But, like, there's... Jesus Christ... If you want an anxiety disorder, just take your pick about things to freak out about every day. I know I do, but leave some Scandinavian... He's Swedish?
Swedish, I think, yeah.
Leave some Scandinavian man to his own problems. He's got more than enough money. He's got more than enough followers. He'll
be able to buy himself a boat to get away when everything else explodes.
Either that, or demand payment for your services.
Yeah.
But anyway... What did we watch last night? Because it was fantastic.
We watched City on Fire, 1979 Canadian disaster film.
And here's the thing. It was a drama, but guess who one of the main actors was?
Leslie Nielsen.
So I couldn't take any of his scenes seriously, because I so got the feeling that he was just playing straight and there was a punchline and yeah.
It was so awesome.
It was awesome. Everyone smoked. I mean, besides...
It was filmed in Quebec, and I never spotted any, but apparently you can actually see some city signs in it that are in French in the background of some shots. MST3K did a version of it. We didn't watch that one.
No, now I want to.
We didn't know about that until partway through, and
Yeah.
now we're like, we're gonna watch that in the next few days because it's on YouTube.
It was like back in the day when child actors didn't have to actually be good. So there's a scene where like one of the actors is like leading all the kids somewhere, and all the kids are like watching him like and talk and listening to him talk, but then one kid keeps looking at the camera.
It was awesome. Basically, there's a city, and guess what happens?
It's on fire.
It's
At the
on
beginning,
fire.
there's like a title card that says, "This could happen at any city, anytime." Except it
couldn't.
would need to have a major oil refinery in the center of town.
And then you would need a lot of random shit happening.
Oh my god.
And then you need a very dry climate. Actually, it's much drier than Canada, the climate they would need for this.
Yeah.
They really should have probably
Like the
tried
Southwest, like Arizona or something.
Yeah, if this was set in Arizona or
in California during the droughts.
New Mexico. Because apparently this was inspired by an actual disaster in the 40s in Texas City, which I guess is probably in Texas.
I reckon. Could never happen in Derry. Too
Unlikely to be in Connecticut.
It was really funny because everyone was wearing like, 70s styles and just really old
it was like,
and...
for an MST3K film, it was surprisingly brutal.
Yeah, people got that. Well, it was rated R for back then.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see what they cut out because MST3K tend to cut stuff out. So I imagine the full body burn victim guys and stuff like that are probably gone. But I remember watching that film as a child because my parents had a bunch of disaster films from the 70s.
Your parents have the weirdest, most eclectic interests.
Yeah, my mum's the disaster fan.
My father-in-law is like, okay, so you know how like a lot of times if a white person gets really into anime and Japanese culture, you call them a weeaboo? Well, like, there's not a name for it.
I call them a Siamophile.
Oh. Well, okay, the internet calls them a slur. You probably say. But my father-in-law is totally into Thailand.
Yeah,
like, everything about it. So, like, he'll listen to, like,
Siam, as in the old name for Thailand.
Like,
it sounds better than Thai-ophile. It sounds like he's turned on by ties.
Or ties.
Cravats.
I love this one, but anyway.
Siamophile sounds like he might want to fuck a cat, though.
Let's stop describing your dad in, like, those terms.
But yeah, my dad is a big fan of Thailand. Me and my mum and him went over there about 12 years ago.
And he's been back several times.
Actually, sorry, more like 8 years. Yeah, they loved it so much they went back and forth. They've been probably about 8 or 9 times since.
They wanted us to go at some point, but like because I'm working and going to uni, I really have no time to take like a week and a half holiday. And also it's expensive, and also it'll be hot, and there'll be bugs, and I might have to eat a bug, and I don't know.
I mean, I would love to go back to Thailand, but it's unlikely. But
we could go to Iceland.
My mum had a huge collection of these disaster films. And so, as a small child, I watched Towering Inferno and Poseidon Adventure and When Time Ran Out and Earthquake and...
When time... We forgot to top it up. Oh no, time ran out.
So, recently I've been trying to find these films. Like, this copy of City on Fire, Omega got me for my birthday, and I was like, I've been looking for this. Now I need to get a copy of When Time Ran Out. My mum's actually requested to borrow my copy. Because she used to have it on VHS. But I've also got a copy of the Swarm, where Michael Caine fights bees. That's the
I want to see him
70s
punch
concept.
bees. Michael Caine.
The best disaster film, though, is much newer than that.
Oh, Jesus, here we go.
10.0 Earthquake.
We did a video about it.
Let's
I think we
blow
talked
up
about it
the
in Lesbian
earthquake.
Talk.
It's the only way to be sure.
Bad. Your man, the actual pedophile, was in it.
Yeah. You got the Scottish Peruvian guy.
Oh.
You've got the fisher sneaking up on someone. It is amazing. It is a glorious piece of work.
No, it's not. It's terrible.
It makes everyone turned on.
San Andreas was actually better.
They don't want to smash their car's windows, so they use CGI.
It is like could you not just? It's so cheap. Like that's such a cheap prop. To, like anyway. But you have a birthday coming up next week.
Yes.
Happy birthday to Hagan.
Yes.
And so Teddy, the minion, who is also your brother, got you a box of DVDs, and you said you wanted to share that with the class.
Yeah, I mean, I was up there filming today. We were filming a special episode of Hagan where I was not actually on screen at all.
I was at work.
And that's an episode where Teddy is presenting the show. And he gave me my birthday present.
My birthday present was a food processor.
Yep, because her birthday was last month.
Okay.
But the first 3 DVDs are ones that I picked up in Pound Shop today on my way up. But The Watcher, starring Tony Todd, it's whatever scares you most. Apparently, everyone gets scared by Tony Todd. 2012 Damnation, Time is Running Out. A powerfully constructed movie, according to the LA Film Review.
Well, thank God for that.
And it's apparently an EMP. When I saw 2012 Damnation, I was hoping this would be an evangelical apocalyptic disaster film.
I got you 3
like
films at the Pound
Apocalypse.
Shop yesterday, too.
Yeah. Do you want to get them so I can read them?
No, because I don't know where they are, and I might trip with a tripod, so...
Okay. And Ghost House.
I was considering getting that one for you, but I didn't know if you read it or saw it.
I don't think I've seen it. The dead never sleep. Death is but a stage based on actual events.
Based on actual death.
It's got like a skull in the building. This is going to be shit. Okay, these are the ones that Teddy gave me. I don't know how I think he
said he saw a deal on Amazon.
So it must mean like all these films were this amount. And they're all, I think they're all Japanese, but maybe they're just all generically Asian.
And they all fit perfectly into the box. That's pretty impressive.
Okay. Some of these I've already seen.
Alright.
Blood. It's just this naked Japanese woman with like blood coming down.
Is this a live-action version of Blood the Last Vampire?
Don't think so.
It must be, or anemia again. If you've ever seen the original Blood the Last Vampire, you know why that's funny.
And it is, where does love and lust lead you if you never die? It leads you to Croydon. Next is The Sinking of Japan. One heck of a visual treat according to BeyondHollywood.com. 2012 meets Tidal Wave. Apparently Japan sinks. That's always been a danger, I have to say. It's
especially because global warming.
Disaster movie of epic proportions. It's a spectacular thrill ride laden from start to finish with breathtaking special effects and jaw-dropping scenes of cataclysmic destruction. I think you might be selling it a bit too much. It's not going to have a budget of San Andreas.
No.
And will it be as funny as Earthquake 10.0? I doubt it. 252 Sign of Life. The ferocity of nature on an epic scale. I've been sent all these disaster films. Apparently Teddy's like, you know, Hagan, you know what she needs? Asian disaster films.
But is he wrong, though?
No.
Well, there you go.
Because it is always fascinating to see different cultures with the same genres. I mean, the disaster film is probably the most recent genre in film that I can think of, because I believe it started in the 70s. I can't think of another genre that grew fully formed since then.
Oh, okay, fair play. I'll make a pile over here.
Like, you could make arguments maybe for first-person films or whatever, but that's not a genre.
Pile on top of
it's a style.
I bought Neil Stephenson's new one. I hope it's good.
Pandemic! The end of the world is near. 14th century, the Black Plague. 19th century, cholera. 20th century, avian flu. And now the 21st century sees a new plague that threatens all of mankind. That's the entire back of the box. They didn't give you any other information.
I disagree with using cholera because cholera is a bacteria. I wouldn't really describe it as a plague. When I think plague, it has to have like a really complicated vector.
Depends if you're playing plague or not.
Well, I mean, me personally.
Bacteria is a plague according to Plague Inc.
Yeah, I know, but just cholera is waterborne, so that's really easy to...
Okay, this movie is... Oh, this is Thai, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is Thai. It's not just Thai, it's Thai 2.0.
Well, there you go.
But this is a movie called The House, not to be mistaken for the Japanese film House, or the Christian horror movie called House, or even the 1980s classic one which had 3 sequels called House. I gotta tell you, House might actually be the most commonly reused as full name of a horror movie that I can think of. Because I can think of at least 7 films with that name. Okay.
She just got a text. How unprofessional.
Okay, but it's got this woman on the front of a house, and it's like, victim after victim has entered the house.
House.
When a rookie reporter reinvestigates a gruesome unsolved murder, she quickly makes connections with 2 other unsolved murder cases almost 40 years earlier and shares similar shocking similarities.
They happened in the same house.
Yes. She begins to piece the puzzle together and unwittingly discovers that all the victims once lived in a long-abandoned house in the grounds of a medical institute. Dare she enter the house, and will she become its next victim? Probably one of those is going to happen. The
yeah.
other one, maybe not.
Results likely.
My X2. Actually, I think there's a My X1 here. Yes. I'll go. We don't want to go to the sequel first.
Well, obviously.
3 ex-girlfriend, 3 dates with death. Beware of my ex.
Max.
It's like there's an eye with someone's face looking up, being all sinister.
I think most people have that feeling. Beware of my ex.
Apparently, like, someone gets murdered and they're all like, oh, she did it, but then she dies too, and the body count keeps rising when you date with death. This is Thai as well. I actually had this wonderful looking Thai film I picked up when I was in Thailand. However, it does not have English subtitles, so I've never watched it. But the cover is this woman being eaten by a giant snake, and the snake is so big that it's crushing a helicopter. It's like, they don't quite get scale. It is awesome looking. I don't want to watch the film now because the cover is too good. But my X2 haunted lover, do unto others, says the tagline.
Haunted lover.
Sexy young actress clinches a lead role in a major movie.
Haunted lover sounds like a 1980s song.
Darling, a major movie.
Notes.
Darling, a major movie in Thailand.
Watch
Indonesia, maybe.
She's a haunted lover. Eater.
But her career and life are jeopardized when her reprobate boyfriend causes the suicide of his mistress and her spirit comes seeking vengeance. Layered with twisted revelations and awesome blood and gore.
Wow.
Will it be as good as Death, Tube?
Dunno.
The Victim.
Maybe she was the victim of my ex.
Dare you ignore the talking dead? I don't know. Do you...
That's better than The Walking Dead, because they just stand there and yarp at you. You could just be like, I have to go now, okay, bye, and put your headphones on.
Although, honey, I think we might be in danger, because we both ignore The Talking Dead, the web show dedicated to The Walking Dead.
I don't watch The Walking Dead. I told you, I'm a zombie hipster hater. No. Whatever. I've been fed up with zombies since 2002, and we've been talking about it for years, so there you go.
I bet these characters, basically the zombies sort of walk up to you going like, Daryl and Michonne are the best character, and they eat you. You know, while saying that.
If I could just play devil's advocate.
Shane wasn't a bad guy. I miss Dale.
Shitposting zombies.
Coral.
I work with a guy named Carl. I'm like, can I call you Coral? Like, when I first met him, he's like, actually, you can if you want, but that's not my favorite character in Walking Dead. I was like, oh, okay.
When a struggling actress gets her big break in a crime scene reconstructing TV show, she initially embraces her newfound fame and fortune. Oh my god, you gotta play a bit part in 999? That's amazing. But after one particular reconstruction, a role unleashes a series of supernatural horrors and she stumbles into a world of terror. Supernatural crime drama in the spirit of The Eye and Darkwater. Now, is this the original Eye and the original Darkwater or the American remakes? Because they were shit.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hideo Nakasa's Darkwater and the Pang brothers' The Eye were brilliant. The American versions, no.
Well, anyway.
Samurai Zombie. Oh, I've seen this. This, I believe, stars Tak Sakaguchi. Directed by Tak Sakaguchi, written and produced by Ryuhei Kitamura. Tak Sakaguchi is the main actor in Versus, and Ryuhei Kitamura is the director of Versus. This was action-packed and funky. And it does have a zombie. It has a zombie samurai in it.
Dead, but still slicing. 18 rated.
The last one is Geisha Assassin. Gentle as a lady, deadly as a cobra. Not as good looking as Robo Geisha. And this one, after Resident Evil and Kill Bill, a new style of martial arts action movie is born. Dude, you're not encouraging me to watch this film. You know.
I liked Kill Bill.
Kill Bill was fine, but this is an actual Asian-made martial arts film.
Oh, so you think that they shouldn't be trying to use Kill Bill? They should be using other actual Asian movies.
Yeah,
like
and plus, Resident Evil should be kept very far from both
Cultural
of them.
appropriation? Culturally appropriating Quentin Tarantino?
No,
He is not for you, he is white. No, I'm just kidding.
No, my point was that Kill Bill's action was good, but it's a different style than actual Asian martial arts films. Even
though it was kind of an homage, because so it's basically like Asian martial arts films, but filtered through a different cultural lens and then filtered back.
Yeah, and it wasn't. They're not quite the same thing. I'd much rather if they would use, Asian martial arts films rather than using the aping of them.
It's been a long time since I watched Kill Bill.
Why the fuck did you mention Resident Evil? Oh
That's even worse.
Yeah. So thank you, Teddy.
Yeah. So we're almost out of time. So that's gonna have to be it for this week. I lied on Twitter. I lied and I said we'd be discussing ribs in the slow cooker. That was just a hook. We actually did not make ribs.
Several people will watch this wanting that.
We made ribs. We just not in a slow cooker.
Put the ribs in a slow cooker and then you cook them slowly. And
well, no, you put a full rack in. I think 4 hours on high, or like 5 to 7 on low, depending on the quality of meat and the kind of slow cooker. Put them in with like a full bottle of barbecue sauce, and you should be grand. So actually, we did.
Now you know.
So that's been us for this week. I've been the Omega Geek, and honey, who do you want to have been this week?
Clearly a samurai zombie.
Yes, the best kind, really.